Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something most people never say out loud. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is strength. In a world where everybody wants to be heard, where every second person has a megaphone and a platform, it takes courage, real courage, to say nothing and stay silent. See, some of you are misunderstood. You've been quiet. People think you're not smart. People think you don't have what it takes. People think your silence means you're scared. But deep inside, you're just observing. You're watching. You're learning. And when your time comes, you going to roar. But right now, stay silent. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a man who had a dream to become a speaker, but he stuttered. He could barely say his own name without choking up. People laughed at him. They called him slow. They told him, "You're not made for the stage. You don't have the voice." You know what he did? He stopped talking. He went silent, not because he gave up, but because he went to work. He read, he wrote, he studied other speakers. For 2 years, he didn't say a single word in public about his dream, but in private, he was planting seeds. And when the time came, he bloomed. That man now speaks in front of thousands. Why? Because he stayed silent long enough to hear his own voice. Some of you are speaking too soon. You're reacting too fast. You're defending yourself against people who don't even deserve a response. You're arguing with folks who have no intention of understanding you. That's wasted energy. Sometimes your silence is your loudest message. When people doubt you, stay silent and work. When they betray you, stay silent and move. When they mock you, stay silent and grow. Let your success do the talking. There's a reason lions don't roar in the jungle all day. They're quiet because they're focused. Because when a lion does roar, the whole jungle listens. You've been roaring too often for people who aren't even in your jungle. Save your roar. Now, don't get me wrong. Silence is not cowardice. I'm not telling you to shrink. I'm not telling you to disappear. I'm telling you to master the art of restraint. The most dangerous person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who says little but sees everything. Some of you are in seasons of your life right now where everything feels uncertain. You're facing rejection, heartbreak, financial struggle, and people around you keep asking, "What are you going to do now?" Say nothing. Just smile and grind, because they'll see the answer when your results show up. I've seen people try to explain their dreams to small minds. Don't do it. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Keep it close. Let it cook in silence. Let it marinate in discipline. When the time comes, they won't have to ask what you've been doing. They'll see it. Listen to me, growth doesn't make noise. A seed breaking through the soil, silent. Muscles growing in the gym, silent. Healing from heartbreak, silent. Winning often happens in silence. Real power moves in shadow. Real breakthroughs are born in the dark. Let me tell you something else. There will be times when your silence will cost you. People will misunderstand you. They'll call you arrogant, cold, detached. Let them talk. Let them label you. You don't owe them a response. You don't owe them your energy. You owe yourself peace. You owe yourself progress. You see, some storms are sent not to destroy you, but to silence you long enough to teach you. You won't hear the lesson over the noise. You've got to quiet your world so you can hear your calling, so you can hear you. Some of you are in that exact storm right now. Everything feels still, like nothing is moving, like your dream is frozen, but it's not. It's maturing underground. The roots are spreading. The foundation is getting stronger. Don't rush it. Stay silent. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're being refined. And when the time comes, speak, stand tall, move loud, walk like someone who's been through the fire and didn't have to shout to prove it. Before I leave you, I want you to remember three things. Silence is your shield. It protects you from noise, distraction, and drama. Silence is your shield. It's where you build, where you heal, where you grow. Silence is your strategy. It's how you prepare, how you position yourself for the moment when the world is finally ready to hear your roar. So don't let the world rush your process. Don't let noise steal your focus. Don't let critics pull you off course. Stay silent and stay dangerous. Because when you rise, they'll hear everything they need to know in the sound of your footsteps. In a world that's constantly shouting, where everyone is rushing to be seen, to be heard, to be validated, silence can seem like defeat, but it's not. Silence is the ground where power grows. It's the space where warriors sharpen their swords, where visions are clarified, and where strategy is born. While noise seeks attention, silence seeks mastery. It doesn't beg to be noticed. It focuses on becoming undeniable. When you're silent, people think you've given up. They see your stillness and assume you're stuck. But they don't see the late nights, the early mornings, the grind behind closed doors. They don't hear the thoughts that keep you up, the dreams you're shaping in the dark, the inner battles you're winning without ever saying a word. They don't understand that your silence isn't a retreat. It's a recalibration. True growth never screams. It doesn't need to. Think about the seed underground. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't ask for attention, but it's doing the most important work. It's breaking, stretching, rooting, preparing to rise. Your silence is that soil. It's messy. It's hidden, but it's necessary. Because when you emerge, you're not just a spark, you're a storm. People often confuse volume. Just because someone is louder doesn't mean they're right. Just because someone is visible doesn't mean they're valuable. Silence separates the impulsive from the intentional. It gives you the space to think, to observe, to feel what's really going on. Not just around you, but within you. And in that space, something powerful starts to take shape. Not noise, not chaos, clarity. You begin to understand what you're truly capable of. You begin to hear your own voice, your real voice, not the one filtered by fear or influenced by opinions. In silence, you return to the core of who you are. You remember your why. You refine your mission, and you begin to act, not react. There's a reason the strongest people in the room aren't the ones doing all the talking. They're listening. They're calculating. They're watching patterns, reading the room, picking their moment. And when they speak, every word hits. That's because they've done the work in silence. They don't speak to impress. They speak to impact. Sometimes silence is the only power you have left. When you've been betrayed, when you've been underestimated, when you're exhausted from explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand you anyway. In those moments, silence becomes your protest, your armor, your way of saying, you won't break me and I don't need to prove it. You have to learn how to hold your fire. Not every battle is worth your energy. Not every argument deserves your voice. There's strength in restraint. There's wisdom in not reacting. There's power in walking away without a word. Knowing your presence alone says more than any sentence ever could. And in that quiet place where the world has gone still, you become dangerous because you're not wasting time on noise. You're building, you're learning, you're healing, you're rising. And when the time comes, when the foundation is strong and the vision is clear, you'll step forward. Not with a shout, but with a presence so powerful that the world will have no choice but to listen. In a society obsessed with announcements, declarations, and constant broadcasting of ambition, there's something undeniably powerful about staying quiet and letting your results speak for you. Anyone can talk about what they're going to do, but very few have the discipline to go out and actually do it. The truth is, the loudest person in the room isn't always the most successful. They're just the one craving the most attention. Real success doesn't need a spotlight. It is the spotlight. People will try to pull you into conversations just to hear your plans. They'll want to know your moves, your strategy, your timeline. But you owe no one a preview of your progress. You don't need to explain what you're building. Build it. You don't need to defend your dreams. Execute them. Because once success arrives, it answers every question without you ever having to open your mouth. Letting success make the noise means refusing to waste energy on trying to prove your worth through words. It's resisting the urge to seek validation through attention. It's turning down the volume on the noise around you and turning up the intensity on your grind. That's not ego. That's focus. That's maturity. That's knowing that when you stay committed, consistent, and clear about your mission, your results will become your voice. There's a certain kind of respect that can't be demanded. It must be earned. You don't earn it by shouting louder. You earn it by delivering results when no one thought you could, by rising from setbacks that were supposed to destroy you, by accomplishing things people said you'd never do. Success, when it's real, echoes louder than any speech. Look around and you'll see it every day. People who never stop talking about the future, about what's coming soon, about how they're about to blow up. Years pass and nothing changes. Why? Because their energy is in the talking, not the doing. They're addicted to attention, not action. Don't fall into that trap. Stay in the lab. Stay in the zone. Get addicted to progress. Fall in love with results. Because when the work is real, the world will notice. You don't have to post every win. You don't have to share every step. Keep some things sacred. Keep some victories private. Not everything needs to be a performance. Let your life be the testimony. Let your presence, your peace, your power speak for itself. That's the kind of success that shakes people. When you walk in the room and people can feel your growth, when they see the discipline in your eyes, when they hear it in your tone, not arrogance, but assurance. The most dangerous person in the room isn't the one flexing their achievements. It's the one who doesn't need to. The one who sits back calmly, knowing they've done the work, knowing they're playing a long game, knowing that their harvest is coming. Not because they talked about seeds, but because they planted them. You're not in a race to be seen. You're not in a contest to be heard. You're in a mission to be. And when you truly become what you were meant to be, success will introduce you without you saying a word. The world will hear the sound of your rise, the sound of consistency, the sound of resilience, the sound of excellence. And they'll have no choice but to pay attention. Growth doesn't always come with fireworks. It doesn't always announce itself with big moments or public applause. Most of the time, it's silent. It happens behind the scenes when nobody's watching, when no one is cheering you on. It happens in the dark, in the quiet, in the grind that nobody else sees. That's where transformation begins. And even though no one notices at first, when that growth finally shows, it shakes the ground. There's something powerful about the way real change takes root in silence. Like a tree growing underground, stretching its roots deep before it ever breaks the surface. Your growth needs space to build its foundation. You don't get stronger by making noise. You get stronger by lifting silently, pushing through the resistance, and getting back up without an audience. The loudest impact always starts in the quietest seasons. People often think if they're not being seen, they're not making progress. But visibility and progress are not the same thing. Just because the spotlight isn't on you doesn't mean you're not evolving. Just because no one is clapping doesn't mean you're not winning. Some of the most important moments in your life will happen when no one is around to witness them. And that's okay. That's where character is formed. That's where resilience is built. Quiet growth requires patience. It demands humility. It calls for discipline when the results aren't obvious and no one is celebrating you. It's waking up early, staying up late, doing the work day after day, even when no one is watching. It's learning in silence, failing in silence, healing in silence, and getting better when nobody's paying attention. That kind of growth changes you. It makes you unshakable. When the results finally show, when you walk into a room with a confidence no one can explain, when you speak with authority that didn't come from a title, but from trials, that's the loud impact of quiet growth. People will wonder where it came from. They'll ask when it happened. They'll be shocked at what you've become, but they didn't see the hours, the effort, the silence that shaped you. The world is full of noise. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to go viral. But the truth is, the most impactful people are often the ones who stayed quiet the longest. They didn't rush the process. They didn't seek shortcuts. They went deep. They embraced the silence. And because of that, their success isn't temporary, it's rooted. It can't be shaken. Don't be discouraged if no one sees your progress right now. Don't let the absence of attention make you question your journey. Keep your head down. Keep building. Keep showing up. The time will come when the world can't ignore you, not because you were the loudest, but because your growth produced results that speak volumes. That's the thing about real growth. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't beg for praise. It simply shows up. And when it does, it makes noise all on its own. Not the noise of ego or arrogance, but the kind that changes things. The kind that opens doors. The kind that turns heads, shifts atmospheres, and sets a new standard. Quiet growth doesn't mean small growth. It means deep growth, and deep growth is what leads to greatness. There's a powerful freedom that comes when you realize you don't have to justify your dreams, your choices, or your path to anyone. Far too often we get caught up trying to explain ourselves to people who have already made up their minds, who don't want to understand, or who only see things through their limited perspective. We spend our energy defending decisions, convincing skeptics, and responding to critics. And in the process, we lose focus on what truly matters, our progress. You don't owe an explanation to anyone who doubts your vision. You don't owe a reason to those who don't believe in your ability. You don't owe your energy to people who question your timing or the way you choose to move forward. What you owe is commitment to yourself, to your goals, and to your journey. When you focus on results instead of reasons, your life begins to change in ways that words never could. Think about it. How many times have you tried to explain your ambition only to be met with skepticism or negativity? How many times have you felt drained by the need to prove yourself to people who don't have your best interests at heart? That's because some people aren't meant to be part of your journey. Some people will never understand your dreams. And that's okay. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission. When you stop explaining and start producing, you reclaim your power. You stop giving others the power to define your worth or dictate your pace. Instead, you show up every day with focus and discipline. You work in silence, build in obscurity, and let your achievements be the voice that breaks through the noise. Results are undeniable. They don't require defense. They don't need validation. This mindset isn't about arrogance or dismissiveness. It's about respect for your own time and energy. It's about understanding that the right people, those who truly care and believe in you, will see your dedication through your results, not through your explanations. You attract those who are aligned with your purpose, and you let go of the rest. When you focus on results, you're shifting from reaction to action. Instead of getting caught in endless debates, you're moving forward with intention. Instead of trying to convince others, you're convincing yourself. You're building confidence, not by words, but by the progress you make every single day. There will always be noise. There will always be opinions and judgments. People will talk, question, and try to pull you into arguments that distract you from your mission. You have to learn to rise above it. You have to learn to protect your peace. You have to learn to focus on what you can control: your work, your mindset, and your results. Remember, every great achievement in history was met with doubt and criticism at first. The difference between those who succeeded and those who didn't was not how much they explained their dreams, but how much they stayed committed to making those dreams real. Results silence critics faster than any argument ever could. You don't owe anyone an explanation, only results. When you internalize this truth, you free yourself from the chains of others' opinions. You become unstoppable because your focus is clear and your energy is reserved for building, creating, and achieving. No more defending your path. No more justifying your pace. No more explaining your vision. Instead, get to work. Produce results. Let your life be the proof of your dedication and your strength. When you do, the world will have no choice but to recognize your greatness.